less cost per good, and you can put more money into marketing and sensationalism and essentially somewhat ethically or non-ethically lying to people to get them to buy into a high consumer, low quality life that was making them sick. And because I had that tenacity like you did to be the best, right? And because I was able to take direction well, I was able to discover that heavy metals were at the root cause of my dysfunction in my body, my hormone dysregulation, the reason my body couldn't burn fat for energy, right?
Welcome to the Dr. Ashley Show.
Welcome to the Dr. Ashley Show. I'm Dr. Ashley, and today we have an amazing guest on the show. I'm really excited because this is near and dear to my heart. It's the topic of heavy metals and toxic-free living. So today we're going to welcome Warren Phillips to the show. He's the visionary force behind Non-Toxic Dad, a revolutionary movement aimed at transforming lives through non-toxic health practices. Confronting his own battles with fibromyalgia, anxiety, weight gain, insomnia, and a myriad of health obstacles, Warren refused to succumb. His journey led him to explore alternative methods like heavy metal detoxification, dietary adjustments, and cellular support, resulting in his own profound restoration. Fueled by his transformation, Warren now guides himself with mindful attention to the 5 primary methods of toxin exposure: consumption, inhalation, absorption, frequencies, and mindset. Working toward a toxic-free lifestyle for himself and his family, he has discovered a path forward and now empowers others to do the same. Warren has emerged as a beacon of hope and empowerment for those navigating similar adversities, inspiring positive change in countless lives. Warren is dedicated to educating the public about low-toxic living. Together with New York Times bestselling author Dr. Pedram Shojai, they are spearheading the docuseries Home Sick Home, uncovering the hidden toxics in homes and promoting healthier living alternatives. Warren, welcome to the show.
It's awesome to be here, Dr. Ashley. We just had an amazing off-camera conversation. Really looking forward to sharing with your audience. This is kind of my wheelhouse, toxicity and weight loss and just helping people, you know?
Well, let's dive in. I would love for you to start by just sharing the pivotal moments in your own journey that led you to discover the impact of environmental toxins on our health.
Well, my whole life, I've been an outdoorsy guy. I thought, well, I'll just go to school and help clean up the environment. I was environmental studies. Then I double majored in environmental science. And then I went on to in geology, environmental geology. And then I went to graduate school and, undergrad. That was undergrad. And then I went on to graduate school and I continued that work, learning how the toxins are in the environment, how to clean them up, how to bind heavy metals, how the natural environments bind heavy metals and how they're sequestered and stored away and then released back into the environment, all that fun stuff. Went on as an environmental consultant, cleaning up, started off just cleaning up underground storage tanks because every underground storage tank out there for gasoline is leaking and polluting the environment. But then we got this big contract with the U.S. Forest Service, Army Corps of Engineers, and we started cleaning up abandoned mines, turn of the century mines. A lot of fun, but a lot of heavy metals. And fast forward that story, and I've done some mercury cleanups along the way as well. And I got really, really sick. And the story always ends the same way. Your basic blood work looks normal, but you're just too stressed out. Then I moved in, had to sell everything, move into my parents' house. It was moldy because it's on a side of a hill and moisture still works its way into there. No dehumidifier running, or at least when it does not at capacity to handle that amount of moisture. Became suicidally sick, obese, chronic pain, chronic fatigue, zero hope. Couldn't exercise, walking. If I could walk and not get an anxiety attack, that was a good day. Didn't sleep at night. Couldn't move my neck. Doctor is like, oh, here's medication, pain meds, and Effexor for your anxiety. And, this is the medication you'll stay on the rest of the life after I went back for my 30-day checkup, right? And so I'm an all-American athlete, an athlete like you. So that kind of, and a scientist, right? So that kind of answer, especially when you ask the doctor, how does this drug work? And they're like, well, we're not sure. If it makes you feel 10% better, stay on it the rest of your life, right? Just covering symptoms. And I think what's nice is that because of social media, and even the current, whether you like it or not, at least the current administration is speaking out against this stuff and holding these companies accountable to feeding us toxins, and our food is poisoned as well, by the way. It's one of the things that led me down that path, is I realized, yes, I was cleaning up environmental toxins, but when I start studying this stuff, I found that our everyday environments, our food, our indoor air quality, the couch that you're sitting on is off-gassing toxic hormone disrupting chemicals that are obesogens and, causing a lot of pain and suffering for the almighty dollar. And we got away from the things that worked, and we went back to the things like plastic. We moved towards things like plastic clothing, which I will never wear, that are cheap, that have a 50% less cost per good, and you can put more money into marketing and sensationalism and essentially somewhat ethically or non-ethically lying to people to get them to buy into a high consumer, low quality life that was making them sick. And because I had that tenacity like you did to be the best, right? And because I was able to take direction well, I was able to discover that heavy metals were at the root cause of my dysfunction in my body, my hormone dysregulation, the reason my body couldn't burn fat for energy, right? It was a sugar burner, and I stored fat. And all of those led me to this path. Like, the world needs to know this. So I, along with Dr. Dan, we launched a coaching company where we taught chiropractors, medical doctors, naturopaths about detoxification and its root cause effect on our bodies. And yeah, a lot of it was weight loss. A lot of it was diabetes. Diabetes is linked to this, Alzheimer's, like longevity. Everything is linked to toxins. Toxins is the root cause of so much dysfunction. And that's why it's my life's work. And that's why I started Non-Toxic Dad a couple years ago after being in this industry for 20 years now. This is my passion, is that see other people slowly choose this lifestyle. It's not, you don't want to fear toxins, but you want to understand them and choose the freedom that your body will have by living a non-toxic lifestyle, by watching what you put on your skin, because that's a pathway for toxins to get inside your body. It's like eating them. Obviously, eating them, the toxicity of the air we breathe, everything that's coming into our bodies affects our day-to-day outcome. And as you lower that load, your body will respond. And that's when the weight shed off. That's when I lost the weight. That's when I start feeling better, that I could have my dream. I was a country boy, Dr. Ashley. I wanted to grow up and, run around and have kids and a porch and go hunting with my buddies on the weekends. Right. And all that was taken from me. And, of course, my life has taken a wonderful direction, but it took me a good 8 years to figure this out and get my body to the place where I'm 50 years old. I have a 3-year-old. So I started life late because it was delayed, because toxins really stole a lot of my life. But it's those toxins, and I believe in energetic shifting, right? Those struggles have actually given me so much more. And I think you could probably share that same story.
Yeah. Well, it's near and dear to my heart. And this is what we were talking about before we started recording, is my son's dealing with some challenges from a health perspective. And we think it's coming from heavy metals. And it's so overwhelming. First off, like, we did an HTMA test for him. I mean, what test did you do, and what test do you recommend people do to see if heavy metals are impacting them? Well,
yeah, heavy metals. I mean, I did a toxic urine challenge, toxic heavy metal urine challenge. Back in the day, it was Doctor's Data. I think there's still probably the premier heavy metal testing where you challenge yourself with a chelating agent like DMSA.
That's right.
And you do a pre and a post with the agent and without it. And it just shows that you essentially have a bunch stored up inside of you. Now, I would let the audience know that most of you are going to fail that test. And if you don't fail that test, something's probably wrong because your body's not releasing heavy metals, because we all have them stored up inside of our body. It's what our body does. When you're getting overwhelmed by toxins, no matter what it does, in its fat cells, it stores it away in a shelf, like the clutter inside my office that I was telling you about. If I had shelves all over this room, what my body would want to organize and get those things away from me so I'm not tripping over them. It puts them up on these shelves to be stored so that they're safely kind of stored away. It's not best case scenario, but It's better than attaching to your thyroid, causing inflammation. It's better than mimicking, an iodine when you need something else on that receptor to make it work properly, or blunting a hormone receptor that your body needs to hear the hormone leptin to burn fat for energy. So, or causing inflammation at the cellular level. So they store these things away, and we need to lower the equation, right? It's math. We want to remove the amount of toxins, lower the amount coming in, and we want to remove things from the shelf and get them out of our house and throw them into the incinerator or into the garbage, heap, or whatever you want to say. You don't want these things inside your body, because long term they're causing disease, dysfunction, and they're not giving you life. They're aging you at the cellular level. They're creating dysfunctional cells, which is essentially what aging is. And we want to, in order to be healthy, we want to create new healthy cells. That's where autophagy comes in. Instead of having these senescent dead cells in our bodies, which as you age, you get them, but toxins drive cellular senescence, and it creates worthless cells that have no function or opportunity to help you, because the mitochondria is not working. It's just you have dead, unhealthy cells in your bodies, and toxin drive all these nasty pathways. And that's what got me sick, and that's what gets so many other people sick, and why they have hormone dysregulation and et cetera.
What are some common toxins in our food and environment that are contributing to this chronic illness and accelerated aging?
The easiest, the big ones are going to be your mercury amalgam fillings. Like, these are just levels of toxicity, right? We can get down into the foods and some of the easy stuff, but to be fair, we have to talk about the ones that are the elephants in the room. So we have mold, which is biotoxin. 70% of homes today do have some level of elevated mold in their home. So if you have a wet basement, if you're living on the bottom of a hill, you're not having a dehumidifier, if you have physical water damage anywhere and it takes 24 hours for mold to form, that's a major toxin that's going to have a major impact on your health and life and energy and your thought life and your immune system, and they're carcinogens, and just, it's bad, right? So I always tell people to start with the big ones. I would say it's more important to handle mold in your house than it is to worry about the chocolate bar that has full of lead, right? That's exceeding, EPA standards, for the amount of lead you should be eating in a course of a day if you're eating a whole bar, right? At least California Prop 65 standards. So, but I would say if you have a moldy home, your source of toxicity is so great, you're not going to be able to get over the hump like you want, right? Now, you can take some interventions like some binders, or get a script for cholestyramine, which is plastic, but it's going to make you feel better as you're removing the mold from your house. One of my closest friends is living in a basement that gets wet, and his whole family, him and his daughter, both have SIRS, which is this autoimmune condition where she's puking at night and has lesions all over her body, and it comes and goes, and he has the same thing. And it's all because no one told them about how mold can trigger that autoimmune condition and trigger that gene, that HLA-DR weakness to cause that disease. So that's going to be the main one. Then, of course, you have silver amalgam fillings. If I brush my teeth, drink a cup of hot coffee, or chew on something, and I breathe on you, you measure that air, it's 1,000 times the EPA air quality standard for mercury. So you're exceeding 1,000 times what you're allowed to breathe in the air. And that vapor goes up, causing massive hormone dysregulation, inflammation, it's a poison. There's no safe levels of lead, mercury, any of it, right? So those are some huge ones. Another one that I would say, a little bit loud outside, it's a little bit of distraction. I hope it doesn't bother. You can't hear it.
But can't hear it.
Okay, good. Another big one I feel that's overlooked, and it's kind of my passion lately, is plastics. And I know that for the last 30, 40 years, there's been the environmental movement around plastics. But what I love now is we're talking about the health effects it has on the marine environment, but the health effects it's having on humanity. So maybe now people will wake up and start removing some of these plastics. And here's why. There's the new body of evidence that's coming out on microplastics it's increasing your risk of heart disease 10 times because it's causing inflammation in your arteries and plaquing. The demented individual's brain, the person with dementia, I forget the amount of microplastics in the person with Alzheimer's or dementia versus, I think it's like a 1,000 times more microplastics embedded in their brain tissue. We're having links with hormone dysfunction and to lower testosterone, infertility, and that's just the microplastics themselves. There's also all the phthalates. These are chemicals, these plasticizers that are with these petrochemicals to make this plastic. The same thing is in a vat of chemicals, these synthetic fibers. These are just synthetic chemicals, and that they turn into a thread and weave it into this. It's loaded with BPA, phthalates, formaldehyde, and the microplastics. This is the same as eating it. And our children are running around, like my daughter, not to throw her under the bus, but I can't get rid of her one pair of Athleta pants, and it drives me nuts. I just made a deal with her that if she wants more lessons and do this more, we're 100% when she's working out, no non-toxic clothing, because I just can't handle it, because it's like her ingesting this, and it just hurts my heart, and it's disrupting these kids' hormones. So many kids are dealing with anxiety and all these health challenges, but then we have to get back to why we're not adapting to these interferences in our body. And if you have an overwhelming amount of toxins, your body just can't adapt. It can't methylate out all these toxins. Doesn't make your number one antioxidant in your body, glutathione, to help knock down that oxidative stress. You can't eat enough antioxidant vegetables and to knock down the amount of stress that's on the body. And so these kids can't adapt, and they're on psychotropic drugs or they're on Adderall. Like, we're just band-aiding everything, and these root causes like plastics is a massive cause of hormone dysregulation and weight gain and all of those things. So and some switches. Here's 3 switches for your kitchen. Get rid of your plastic cutting board. Millions and millions of microplastics you're ingesting, hormone disrupting, carcinogenic causing, or linked to be proper in the literature, linked to cancer. Plastic cutting boards. Okay. Switch it out for all 100% wood, right? Not the ones that are put together, because there's a little bit of plastic in there. It's way better, but still, if it's glued, just 100% solid boards. The titanium one, I'm still researching. I don't know about that yet. Anytime, like even ceramic coatings on pots, unless it's 100% ceramic, I'm still not sold on that either. I'm always sold not on the easiest solution, but on the best solution and the right solution. So we're getting rid of.
Sorry, what type of cookware?
Okay, so we'll go there next. Okay. But then I'll switch out all your plastic for glass, right? And then switch out all your Teflon. I'd even say ceramic. In some instances, use it less for cast iron, and carbon steel are my favorites. And then stainless steel, 18-0 for sauce. There's one company called, what are they called? Homie Chef. Can't stand the name, but I remember it because of that. But they have a 22-0 stainless, because there's heavy metals in your stainless steel cookware. 18-0 or 1810 stainless is what everything is, like all clad. That's 18% chromium, 10% nickel. So switch, but get rid of all your Teflon. I would use your ceramic sparingly, to be honest with you, and use mostly for frying, use carbon steel or cast iron, and then or use stainless steel for sauteing would be my suggestion, in making soups and such. So those are 3 switches you can do. They're going to lower your load, but obviously all glass. Don't drink out of plastic. Don't heat things in your microwave. There is no microwave safe. All the research, 100% clear. Elevated levels of hormone disrupting chemicals. So all these things, we do all these things. We do all this hard work to lose weight. But we want to make sure that the toxins that are causing the problem to begin with are being removed from your body. Now, that doesn't mean we don't want to eat right? Because one of the things that really made a difference in my life is lowering my inflammation, and eating a ancestral type low inflammatory diet is what really helped me able to deal with the toxicity, because that was another level of toxins that were in my body. So, and then, I can keep going on with solutions all day.
Yeah, I like solutions. Can we talk a little bit about water? Why drinking filtered water or clean water is so important? And is city or tap water bad for you? I'm here in Asheville, And we just had this impact of the hurricane, and they're putting so much chlorine and then aluminum sulfate in the water to make it clean. I mean, what are your thoughts on that, and what should we do around water?
Every home should have three major changes when it comes to what we're in, like 3 essentials from your home: clean air, clean water, right? And then clean food. So clean air, clean water. I think the number one thing you can do is get a reverse osmosis system. And I can twist the knife when it comes to water. Here's a powerful statement that works on social media. You're essentially drinking the drugs of your neighbor, right? Their heart medications, their daughter's birth control pills, you name it. Their effects are their whatever the names of the drugs. I don't even focus on what the latest Wellbutrin or whatever anti-anxiety, anti-depression med. The waste treatment facilities are not designed, and we worked with them in the past because we would give them toxic water to clean up, to put in back into the ground and recirculate back into the water supply. So, down the chain, you could measure the water where the headwaters of a stream originates, and by the time it gets to near the ocean, it's so loaded with toxins and drugs because it just builds up and bioaccumulates, or because of the amount of impact because of humanity we consume all these drugs, right? Where does it go? It goes in the wastewater treatment plant. They're not designed to remove those toxins, and so they get sucked right back up, pumped right back up into your faucet, and you're drinking them, along with the fluoride, which is hilarious that it's funny. Like, I never was a conspiracy theorist. I didn't jump down the bandwagon. I didn't, say government conspiracy, like all that. Never jumped onto it, but I did always stick to facts. And it's a fact that fluoride is a neurotoxin. It's a fact that study is easily debunked, or at least not good when it comes to the hardening of your teeth. Yeah, there's some truth to it, but it's a twisted truth. I've always thought that everything is driven by money, because I was an environmental consultant and I found unique ways of getting rid of toxins, whether it's from in an incinerator or dumping it back into the water supply system. We did that. Nothing different happened here. They had this waste stream that came and they wanted to get rid of it, and they decided, we can put a little bit of this with very weak evidence, whether for the long-term health effects, and we stick it into water. So it hurts your thyroid. It's a neurotoxin. You don't want it. It's a little amount. It's a little amount. It's a little amount. A little amount. Like, and they debunk all this stuff. A little amount of toxins because of aspartame in your Coke. It's not, all this little amounts of stuff is adding up and wreaking havoc. Death by 1,000 cuts, and it's horrible. When it comes to your water, you have a little bit of a lot of toxins, and some of you have a lot of toxins in your water, and it can be easily fixed with the reverse osmosis water system. Is it perfect water? No, but it's 99% better than what you're drinking. So every house needs that, right? And you have to clean your body out. It detoxes you. It's your lymphatic. Yes, add a pinch of clean sea salt. Jacobsen sea salt, their kosher sea salt doesn't have any lead or toxins in it. And then also, I like there's a couple Kalima brands, which get salt. They dry salt out of Mexico because it comes up from the ground. It's really clean. It's less than 50 parts per billion lead, because lead is a big thing you need to worry about. If you have galvanized steel piping in your home, that could be corroding and causing lead issues in your home. Obviously, lead pipes. If you're in the city, the water mains are loaded with lead still in Pittsburgh and California, not just Flint, Michigan.
Hey, really quickly, if you're interested in hydrating yourself optimally and want to do it in an efficient and effective way, I created an Electrolyte Plus mix just for that. It's called Dr. Ashley's Electrolyte Plus. Creative, I know. And it's crafted with essential electrolytes, vitamins, and minerals for maximum absorption. With patented forms of zinc and vitamin C, it supports immune and adrenal function. Plus, chromium picolinate regulates healthy blood sugar levels while helping to curb those cravings. Say goodbye to headaches and fatigue. Visit drashleywellness.com and use code Ashley10 for 10% off your first purchase, or 20% off your first subscription order with free shipping. Plus, enjoy 30-day money-back guarantee. Now, back to the episode.
All your water lines, obviously, are made of PVC. They replace them with plastic, so you're getting plastic. So I think we've hit the point enough. If you want to be healthy, you have to have clean water. It's way less expensive. to buy reverse osmosis system. If you're buying bottled water, that number one plastic, what does it stand for? I think it's called PPE. Trying to think of the name of number one plastic. It's something poly something terephthalate, PT something, but again, it's made from toxins, and one of the catalysts in it is, I believe, antimony, and so it elevates antimony inside of the plastic. So drinking out of plastic, not only is it hormone disruption, it's giving you another heavy metal. So get away from all the plastics. Reverse osmosis filtration is going to be massive for your body, massive for your health. Lowering anything you do every day is what you need to focus on at first. You breathe every day, you drink water every day, clean those up, get an air filter at least in your bedroom. So that would be another one. And as far as your food, try to eat almost all organic if you can't afford the vegetables. But obviously when you tell yourself you can't eat organic, look at, if you're going to Chick-fil-A or any of those other places, you're just wasting money. And it's just a mindset shift of starting to cook for yourself, staying at home, all those things. It just takes time. I mean, it's taken me 20 years and I'm still learning, Dr. Ashley. I really am.
I am too. When you're traveling, how do you make sure you drink clean water?
Well, I'll either call Amazon and drop off Mountain Valley water, which is expensive.
That's my favorite, though. I do like Mountain Valley.
Or what
it's in the big green bottles.
So what I've done, I actually have it here because I just put it in the video. I take this thing with me, and I buy this is an AquaTrue, which you probably know them, and it has a steel carafe, and it's an RO system, 4-stage. And what I do is because I used to run events for 18 years, and so I have these plastic containers that I can put on a plane, and then I put foam inside of them, like just fluffy foam, and I pack like a detox kit with me. And I travel enough that I'm a diamond now, so I can get 3 bags at 70 pounds, but it's worth the $45 because you would spend a lot of money on water. And so I think Mountain Valley is better than RO water, just to be clear, because it's in glass, and I'm assuming that it's in stainless steel when it gets there, and it's not touching a bunch of plastic. It's bottled at the source, I would imagine. I have to look that up, but I think I did in the past. Excuse me. So I do travel with that. So either the Amazon drop ship from a local Whole Foods, or sometimes I bring both. So I drink that and I make my coffee with this water, fill up water bottles for my kids and when we're out and about. So I have a plastic container. I think it's for music equipment. I wish I could have the name. Maybe I'll show it to you. And I just create this kit and I travel with it. It saves me a ton of money.
Yeah. We had RO in one of our homes, and I didn't do a good job replacing the minerals. I was training for a long bike ride, so I was probably already a little depleted, and I got heart palpitations.
That would do it.
From that water and not replacing the minerals. So if you guys do have an RO system, I just am sharing that story to make sure that you're replacing the minerals in your body.
Yeah, and I think we have a much bigger mineral demand than we would normally. So there's some really good companies out there now that have some clean minerals. A lot of the minerals in the past, because minerals run with heavy metals. So you have to be careful when you get, your trace mineral products. I've measured them. Some of them have quite a bit of lead, but there's some clean products out there now. I love the movement towards sourcing the best materials. It's actually coming back, right? It's not just organic, industrial organic. It's regenerative organic. It's a higher quality organic. They're using non-toxic dyes. They're not just saying, hey, we have organic, but we're putting toxic dyes on your body, right? So there is this really great movement where folks, and there's a big enough market for it now where you can get great trace minerals, and you always ask, for their heavy metal analysis. And I always say, when it comes to salt and pepper, make sure you're less than 50 parts per billion, right? The Kalima brand that I told you, the Jacobsen sea salt, because those are things you're using a lot. And if you're drinking a lot of water, RO water, you need to be putting minerals in every single time, right? A pinch of sea salt every time. Yeah, because it's kind of dead water, right?
It is. I know. I hate that we have to do that.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a well and you can live on a farm, it's like that's where I ultimately want to go, Dr. Ashley. Of course I do, right? My regenerative, organic, 100% grass-fed, humanely raised beef is in a plastic wrap. So I'm still, no matter, I mean,
Yeah.
all of us. I mean, I'm still drinking a kombucha every once in a while that in a can, that's a plastic line. There's no difference between that plastic bottle and the aluminum can. It's still plastic, right? Oh, I'm drinking out of a cardboard box. No, you're not. You're drinking out of a plastic box, cardboard lined with plastic. So I'm still getting a massive amount of microplastics into my body, right? But I'm controlling the ones that I can. So it's okay if I drink a bottle of kombucha. Your body and your microbiome can break some of these things down. But if you can't, your body needs to store them. And in that storing, it's causing inflammation. It's putting them in shelves. It's storing them in your fat cells, right? It's still not healthy for your body. So you have this overwhelming amount. So as the dirt comes in, you want to get it out, right? And you want to have enough systems. Your body, it's called hormesis. Your body can adapt. We can get into, I don't want to get, that's a whole rabbit trail, but you want to lower these loads enough that the air that you're breathing, right? If I go outside, there's microplastics and lead and mercury. All the dust from the tires on the road are all through the atmosphere in the Amazon rainforest, the most pristine environments. You're still breathing microplastics. 3 credit cards a month now. I think it's up to. So there's no avoiding this stuff. So you just want to control the things you can, get rid of almost all the plastic. It took me like till 2 years ago to be like, you know what? I'm wearing plastic, right? And other influencers influenced me, right? I'm like, you know what? They're right. It's dead material. It doesn't have a frequency. And the more you move into life, I think as we age, we're like, wait a minute, there is frequency, there is heart, there is connection, there is a God that loves us, that has allowed us to adapt or evolve or whatever you believe with nature. And the further we get away from nature, the less our life's going to be whole, right? And the closer we get to nature, whether it's our fabrics, our food, get closer to nature and all your decision making, and your life's going to be better. We were designed to run around on your bare feet. I used to think that was crazy. Like grounding was woo-woo science. It is not. There's so much solid science behind this. There's no way the smartest guy on the planet that hates grounding would not win that argument, right? It's true. It's a mindset. Our bodies have developed a connection with the earth. And if you get away from earth and you're not getting back to earth, you're going to feel the consequences. And as a benefit, there's research that shows that it, lowers your risk of heart disease, that it supplies massive amounts of free antioxidants to your body because it's delivering the correct ions and discharging the oxidative ions that you get from electricity and your phones and all this other stuff. And I shoot these videos and people say that, oh, you're woo-woo, you're fear-mongering. I'm like, nothing that I share is fear-mongering. All of it's factual, right? Even if it's a small amount of toxins, get rid of it. You don't have to, but if it's a small amount of toxins, avoid it. Why not if you can? Like, it's only helping you. It's not hurting you.
It does feel overwhelming though. And like it could be easy to get stuck in the anxiety around the fear because it is everywhere. So what would you say? We talked about plastic cutting boards. We talked about water. We talked about air, getting rid of plastics, keeping things in glass. But is there anything beyond that? Like if you were to list the top 4 things or 5 things, practical ways families could transition to more of a toxin-free lifestyle without breaking the bank as well? Like what would those be beyond the items we just discussed?
Well, I mean, when you talk about families, you really need to, get rid of all the convenient stuff, right? And it's hard because our kids kind of get addicted to what the manufacturers want them, the flavors, the taste, the natural flavors, and it's really hard to transition. And it's kind of hard to say, but if someone gets hungry enough, they'll start eating, right? So if you make a switch, like any type of switch, right, when it takes a minute, right, before you can recreate that habit, before your body adapts, right? At first, oh my gosh, I cut out and I'm eating higher fats and I gained a little bit of weight. And, a week, 2 weeks in, you realize, oh man, I'm not losing any weight. But then you do some measurements on your body. You're like, well, wait a minute. Not only did I didn't lose any weight, but I lost 3 inches of fat, right? Cumulative around my body because your body has to adapt. And so do our taste buds. And so does our microbiome. And all this stuff takes we adapt to the toxicity in our life. So you got to use real foods. If it doesn't rot, don't eat it, right? That would be the number one thing that I would, I have right over here for my stinky videos, right, that I do. I have, McDonald's, nothing's rotting, no mold, right? I have Wonder Bread that's a month old, no rot, right? Because it's junk. It's poison to our body, and people are going to the grocery store and buying it. The margins on it are crazy high, and the healthy sprouted grain, right, too expensive, but and they can't pay to have top shelf marketing, and people are just programmed, and that's sugar, and that's addicting, right? And it tastes good, and it's great for toast, right? Which is another side note. Don't over toast your bread. Acrylamides, they're bad for your brain and body. But so clean up your food. If it doesn't rot, don't eat it, right? We talked about water, so critical. We talked about your air. Those are things you can control, and they're big. If you happen to have mold in your home, if you're filtering your air, the mold spores carry the biotoxin in the dust, right? So the biotoxins just don't travel and find you, right? They have to travel on a piece of dust, a chunk of mold spore. So definitely air filtration is important. I would clean up your where you spend most amount of your time, which is your bedroom. So if you're going to create a non-toxic space as you start your investment, and this is where I started with my air filter, getting rid of all the toxic sheets, getting a healthy organic bed, Mind Green mattress. I can't believe the pricing that they have. You should get an affiliate with them, Dr. Ashley. I mean,
just bought one for my son. It's on its way. It should get here today.
Yeah, so they have such good pricing. They're such good people. They're family run. They're just good companies, right? And they other companies jack up their prices of the products, and they're comfortable. So I love them, and I vetted them hard, right? I talked to the owners twice. Anytime I promote something, I dig deep. I've only done 3 promotions in 2.5 years for Non-Toxic Dad, right? Only 3 reels. And I heavily vetted them. Some of them took a year of convincing, right? So non-toxic bed, get rid of magazines and things that off-gas volatile organic compounds, junk furniture, get healthy furniture in your room, 100% wood with non-toxic stains. Just take your time. And that's where we started, right? I was in debt, broke, sick, had to rip all the carpet out of my house, had hand-me-down chairs with fold-up TV stands to eat off of, borrowed everything, right? And that's what it took for me to get well, because I knew I needed my health. I didn't need stuff. Don't buy junk. Just don't buy it. If it's not healthy, don't buy it. Just take your time. Save up for nice things. It feels better anyway, and that's a whole nother mindset side of things. So clean up your bedroom, your bedding, your towels, those sorts of things. And the next place is going to be the things that you put on your skin and your body every day. Your toothbrush, your toothpaste, get all the non-toxic stuff. Don't use a plastic toothbrush, microplastics, phthalates, one of the number one testosterone robbers out there, which is what you need for energy and metabolism, right? Get rid of all the, start using coconut oil, olive oil, shea butter, tallow for your skincare products. Only one thing, right? This is another big lie. All this massive amount of skincare stuff, just like anything else, you take a drug for testosterone, your body will stop producing it. You start slathering skin stuff on your body, it doesn't need to make it anymore. It's smart. It's like, oh, this human decided to slather me with stuff, right? You don't need all that stuff. Your body produces natural oils. Your hair, when it's healthy with a microbiome, it produces its own natural oils. I'm no shampoo, and I don't have any dandruff or scalp irritation anymore, right? Because I got rid of the very thing that was washing off the bugs and the oils and the things that I needed. It was, and it was non-toxic dad that had to learn that, right? So it's not like I'm smarter or better. I'm just learning and taking action on what I learn. And it's fun. So, and I get it. My daughter still uses, some hair stuff because she has really thick curly hair, and, I can't change that. It's hard, right? To make these decisions. Easier for a guy. So I'm not, so if you're a dude, don't wash your hair. You won't stink. It's great.
There you go.
Ladies, wash it less often, right? And use clean stuff. So the body care products, the lotions, right? So clean that stuff up. Get rid of everything in your home that has fragrance, from your garbage
Mm-hmm.
bags,
Garbage bags.
to every spray, everything fragrance out of your house. It'll make a massive difference on your health, your clarity, your energy. Again, hormone disrupting. It can cause weight loss resistance to toxins, and they're highly linked to cancer. I hate saying that word because it sometimes ruins ratings on podcasts because I don't know why that word is a trigger word. But it also has phthalates inside of that, which is also very hormone disruptive when it comes to fragrances. So that's going to be a big change there. So and then for all these things, have fun with it. It's like, okay, this month I'm removing all fragrances. And don't save the crap, right? Get rid of your your laundry detergent that has fragrance. Just get rid of it. It's so bad for you that I wouldn't even give it away, right? It's just one of those things. It should be in a landfill designed for hazardous waste only. This stuff is literally hazardous waste. There's so much chemicals in there. Almost all of them are linked to cancer or hormone disruption. And then you're washing your clothes, leaving those residues. It makes no sense. And it doesn't make, they're using chemical brighteners. Like, just get rid of it. So laundry, get rid of all the fabric softeners, anything with fragrance, even the plant-based healthy stuff. Get rid of fragrances. So switch that out. Detergent, no water softener. Use vinegar instead inside of the water softener part. Get wool dryer balls. You'll be totally happy and fine. There's lots of great, going to your dishwasher, a lot of great detergents now that are just salt-based that are really great. Lots of great brands, even at Costco. I just did a video on that. No rinse aids, toxic, destroys your gut lining. So just if you did those things and changed one of those a month over the next 12 months, you'll see a massive increase in your health and your energy, how you treat people. Fragrances can make you irritable and unkind. Like, it's just not worth it. It gives you freedom. The non-toxic lifestyle, this movement that we are trying to create over here, it ultimately leads to freedom. It leads to more energy. It leads to weight loss. It leads to the things that you want. So making excuses not to do something because it's more expensive is not true. It's a straw man that you can easily knock down. I can make you an all organic grass-fed burger for less expensive than going to McDonald's, right? It just takes a mindset shift. Mm-hmm. And then a bonus on that, get into gardening. Now you're growing your own organic food, but it helps with, it's the people who live the longest in this world garden, right? That's one of the biggest links. You're getting exposed to good microbiome. You're getting sunshine, all the things that we need to be part of nature.
Yeah. I have a last question for you, Warren. When people are dropping weight and they're collapsing these fat cells, there must be these heavy metals that are being stored in the fat cells being released. And I'm sure some sensitive people can feel that. Do you think people should be like taking a binder or doing something in regard to helping detox from what's being stored in those fat cells that is probably being released during the weight loss process?
Yeah, when we were teaching functional medicine docs, we always had them on binders for sure. Mm-hmm. And we had our marketing terms around it. Avoid the toxic rebound effect, right? And rebounding and gaining, because here's the analogy, and I don't think it is true. I don't think it's as true as the marketing would want it to believe. But when you release these toxins, they're back in your body, causing inflammation, causing hormone disruption. So you're going to put the weight back on, and so it is a good analogy to let you know, yes, you need to detox, because as you're, especially on ketosis, you see it a lot. Some people can't maintain ketosis because they are burning so much fat. It's the toxin release is so great. It is affecting their body and making them sick, right? So I highly recommend doing a binder. I like to do, again, I've developed for physicians and products. I have my own. I've been doing this for 20 years. I have like 5 versions of binders that I've formulated over the years, but the one that I have is called True Carbon Cleanse. There's other great ones out there. Just make sure there's no heavy metals in them. That's all I ask. And it's carbon-based. Mine has carbon, baobab fruit, a little bit of fulvic humic, and then our patented zeolites to bind heavy metals. Here's the trick when it comes to binders, though. People say that carbon is going to pull heavy metals. It's really not. It does a little bit, but it's not a great heavy metal binder. What carbon is great for is binding bile, right? It's been used in other countries. This is how I discovered it. And literally, I'm the one that discovered this, which was kind of crazy, that the whole binding of bile by carbon. I read a study probably 19 years ago now, where Italy, they were using carbon as a cholesterol lowering drug. And I'm like, oh, we're using cholestyramine, cholestyramine, right? CSM,
Mm-hmm.
to bind the bile. Doesn't bind the biotoxins, but it binds the bile that carries them. And
Mm-hmm.
Richie Shoemaker's work, and we were working with old Shuey, Dr. Shoemaker, and we brought him carbon and showed that, here's the study. It lowers cholesterol, mechanism of action, binding bile. Here's our C4A complement immune system dropping off, just like cholestyramine. Hey, isn't this better than plastic? And he's like, rah, rah, rah. He still doesn't like carbon. He still loves cholestyramine, but it does work, and it binds the bile. And that bile in your body is, as you're detoxing, as you're losing weight, can get full of heavy metals and toxins, because your body is essentially processing all these toxins. It's winding up in the liver, binding to the bile, and then your bile is dumped because your body conserves it and reabsorbs it in the lower small intestine,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so all those toxins come back into your body. And this is medically known. It's called hepatic biliary recirculation. This isn't made up nutrition talk, right?
Mm-hmm.
This isn't made up, functional medicine doctor ideas, like, in concepts. This is solid science, where you'll reabsorb bile, and then all the toxins that are there are obviously going to come along for the ride. So what taking a binder does in the gut, especially at night or 30 to 45 minutes before you eat, is that you put that catcher's mitt in there, you eat some fatty food, your body dumps that bile to get it ready for digestion. It'll throw off the fat, but then it'll have the carbon there, and then it'll bind it, some of it, and pull out that toxic bile complex, so it doesn't recirculate in your body. So I 100% believe you should be on a binder, especially if you're just dropping weight. And then, I have my Cyto Detox product, obviously, that can get in your body to, into your bloodstream. I have 3 different sized cages in there. So I don't, you can learn about that online, but binders, I think, would be number one to get that toxic bile complex. And then, a clean zeolite like Cyto Detox would be.
Yeah, actually, where can people learn more? This is perfect timing.
True Cellular Formulas is the name of my, it was a physician's only company, but it's now, we've opened it up to the public just because of the transition we've made. We just want to reach more people, and our products are safe. I do have like the one with EDTA that's physician only, with the Cyto Detox, the EDTA binder. But other than that, True Cellular Formulas, non-toxic dad, on all platforms, non-toxic dad, nontoxicdad.com, Instagram, Facebook, all those things. Another free series we have is Homesick Home, because I think your home is one of the root causes of your toxic exposure. So we did a docu-series, and there's a free docu-series with New York Times bestselling author Pedram Shojai. Do you know Dr. Pedram?
No.
You should meet him. He's a wonderful human. The urban monk. He's been on Doctors and, all the fancy talk shows, and media. Just a good guy, great communicator. So we teamed up on that project, Homesick Home, where you can learn about mold, EMF, all those things. We didn't even get into those topics. But
we need a part 2.
Yeah, we do need part 2. So those are some great resources that you can find some more information about me, and then learn about, your home and cleaning products and all that stuff is inside Homesick Home.
Thank you so much, Warren. These topics are so important, and I'm glad that I feel like there's a movement right now. So everything that you're doing is helping to push this. And I know that our listeners and viewers will take a lot of great action steps away from this. So thank you so much for your time.
Well, it's been an honor, Dr. Ashley. You're just a gem of a human. Your heart is really awesome. And it's been a joy to be on your show. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Warren. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I know there was a lot to it, a little bit overwhelming. I felt that, but I loved how he did provide actionable strategies that we all can implement. If you have any questions, comments at all, and you're watching this on YouTube, please drop your comments in the comments section below, and I'll be sure to answer them. If you're watching this on a podcast platform, please leave a review. Remember to subscribe. It really helps us impact more people in such a positive, profound way. Remember, you've got to step up to make the change. Lead with your heart, train your mind, and do not negotiate with your body. I'll see you next time.